that scout, getting right on that ramp side edge. So Ruby's not really going to be able to do anything against those lurkers until he can get some science vessel, at least 2 science vessels up. He has managed, if he wants to, he can take an additional expansion at this stage. And again, wandering out a little bit there, too far with his Marines. 2 bunkers on the front door, so really concerned about that. He's already in position to get science vessels and just pumping out of his barracks right now. And he's in a pretty good, I would say, economic position. Ooh, picking off another Mutalisk right there, just on that corner. It looks like he's going to... Ooh, thinking about running the edge, but there were definitely lurkers alongside there. I guess just kind of posing. 2 more lurkers. Ooh, got to be careful. Roro showing up a little bit of lackluster micro, I would say, just being a little bit lackadaisical here, and he's already teching to Hive, doing that very quick tech once again. And he's very can effectively do this because, again, no science vessels in the air. Ruby's just kind of stuck. So he's actually not in a terrible position to push into Ruby kind of in the late game. Comsatting right there, and you can see Ruby just a little bit being a little bit nervous here. Wanted to get a kind of a good look on that front door. He's got a good-sized medic marine force in the background. He's going to have that first science vessel out here, and it looks like he's going to get some siege tanks to try to clear out those lurkers on the ramp. Really, yeah, that'll be helpful because, honestly, it's very difficult to go uphill against lurkers like that. They just destroy everything. Just going uphill in general, because you got to move them across position. They just get raked altogether. You guys know what I'm talking about. Mutalisks getting killed. Once again, Roro just has lost a lot of Mutalisks for free and been a little bit sloppy in that regard. Second starport now going up, so it looks like it's going to be SK Terran for Ruby mostly, and maybe a tank or 2 alongside. More Mutalisks getting picked off for Roro. Really wants to, again, you don't want to lose any units, particularly Mutalisks, because they just have that large degree of map control, and he's going to want those Mutalisks to take care of those tanks and to screen in for a Zergling push. A lot of lurkers down on the ground, so it looks like instead, ooh, that's a lot of lurkers. Full control group of lurkers right there. Looks like he's probably going to go into a lurker-ling push here. He's got defilers coming up along the way. The question is will the defilers be in time? And Ruby instead going to go into a little bit more of a defensive stance. I think he needs to, just make sure he establishes the high ground there, hold that base, get the siege tanks in place, take an additional expansion at this stage, play a little less aggressive, and just get, it looks like he's going to go push out and try to maintain some map control. I think he'd be safer just to stay at home base, make sure he doesn't lose that science vessel, I should say. Siege tanks, and it looks like he, just might get flanked, but able to push those lurkers off at the last second. Yeah, he needs to be careful that essentially Roro doesn't do a complete end around, but it doesn't look like he has any troops at that position. Tanks do range. Science vessel gets taken out, and Ruby is now stuck. He's not going to be able to push out at those lurkers without detection. The siege tanks do range. He might be able to get a comsat, but a lot. I don't think that's enough for Ruby to hold his front door with, especially if Roro, although he hasn't been microing this well, if Roro decides to push in right on Ruby's main at this stage, he does not have enough to stop that huge control group of lurkers. But it looks like Ruby actually managed the lurkers backing up and sieging in forward position. He's going in without detection. Big flank, and Roro, it looks like a science vessel coming up. Roro coming back, and that's not a mistake. I guess he didn't know kind of what Ruby was at, but again, I feel like if he had just gone for it, he would have been okay. Zergling's not able to take out that first siege tank. Defiler is up, and look, I don't think Consume's been researched at this stage. Now here we see the pinning flank, all those lurkers coming up from behind, burrowing a little bit later than I was expecting, and Ruby's completely pinned in. This entire attack force should get annihilated, but the lurkers, it looks like the back lurkers were a little bit out of position. They're going to continue to push forward, and now they're going to run headlong into that secondary. Wow, and there wasn't actually enough to stop that front side and that Queen's Nest right there, and the lurkers continuing to try to push through here. Detection along the way, and Ruby, wow, this is a huge mistake from Roro. He decided to go for that backside flank, but he didn't have enough to stop Ruby on the front side, so Roro just able to, just getting walked over, Ruby just marching all the way in. That was the only direction he could go with all that lurker pressure from behind, and beautiful defense matrix to... Looks like Firebat's running up and absorbing some of that damage from the lurkers. Able to take out a lot of those lurkers and able to disrupt a lot of the production, otherwise killing all sorts. That was a huge mistake, and that really shifted the game. I think Roro was in a really good position prior to this, but now completely out of his hands. His drone count right there, you can see very, very small. Ruby has established probably a third base, and it looks like he's got that. Those poor medics. Medics just kind of huddling together to get killed the very last second. Like, I love you, I love you. 2 science vessels out, Firebats, medics starting to push right back across. And Ultralisk Cavern going to the bottom right-hand corner. I'm not sure that he has the gas. Well, maybe he has the gas at this stage, but he needs to conserve larva to get his drone count back up. I guess he needs to expend it on units, actually. He's in a bad position because he needs to get his economy back up. It looks like he does have defilers at the very least, but at the same time, Ruby's pushing against him. Ruby in a very, very strong position. Has those 2 science vessels up, has the medic marine force advancing forward. That is Canal up to try to provide some a degree of mobility, I should say. That's the word I'm looking for at both locations. 6 o'clock expansion has been put up, but nothing in position to really defend that. So that'll be taken out. Some more drones getting killed. And Roro, again, I got to feel like his economy's got to be hurting. Maybe if he can go for a suicide attack on Ruby's main and hope to catch him completely out of position, he could pull this off. Science vessels should be able to just run up and irradiate those lurkers kind of up that cliffside corner. Again, it looks like some more lurkers being brought in position to provide a bit more of a defense. There is no tank, and a defense matrix marine going to be the source of cover. A defiler able to swarm, that's going to stop that cold, so Ruby going to have to back up a little bit here. Still, I'm surprised there's not additional science vessels up in the air. Second starport was put up. Looks like one of them's on the front door, but I expected there to be a continued pump of science vessels, and I'm not seeing that continued pump. Just still 2 in the air, and no tanks to really assist. I guess more firebat heavy at this stage for Ruby. Thinking about being and using, I guess he's going to use defense matrix to try to make it past that lurker line. Now running up and just going to just try to brunt his way up, and you guess going to go more firebat heavy. There's the irradiate on the defiler. He's going to use the firebats, I guess, to try to work in that dark swarm, and firebats getting taken out pretty easily there. He's irradiated 1 defiler. Again, needs more science vessels in the air, in my opinion. I don't think firebats will just cut it right here. There's a third, there we got 2 more science vessels. I expected a little turn, and here's a 5th now. And at this stage, again, Roro's got to play completely on the defensive. There's the defiler. Oh, Ruby losing some more science vessels out in the air. Needs to be a little bit more careful with that again. That's going to be the key to his victory here. Defiler getting killed right out in the open. It doesn't look like he's even getting an additional dark swarm down. So I don't think there's any defilers on the front door to help in this defense. Medic marines continue to be pumped. More science vessels continue to be produced. Roro, for the very least, I still feel like he's in a bad position, but at the very least, he's been able to keep the science vessel count somewhat low. A lot of lurkers at that position there. I don't think Ruby's going to be able to break that, and he's just going to bring up more lurkers to the front door. So yeah, completely lurkerling. He did have that Ultralisk bound, but I don't think he's going to be able to, again, I don't think he has the gas to produce Ultralisks at this stage. Another Nidus Canal going up to produce a little bit more mobility, and bringing those medic marines, it looks like the armor upgrade, level 1 armor over level 1 spines, and actually no spines upgrade, so maybe we are going to see that switch to the Ultralisks. A little bit optimistic maybe. Seeing another factory put down, so might see some more tanks in configuration to kind of push against this. And Ruby, yeah, in a very good position. He's continuing to back her up. I think he's established that additional base. Another firebat contingent pushing up, trying to do some damage in that dark swarm. Once again, trying to rely on those firebats to push in, but that defiler